Hi everyone, this is Michelle coming to you from Mimi's Time. I want to go ahead and start talking about today's topic, which is the pain of being cut. And so although I've never been cut with a knife in my body, I know what it's like to be cut. I know what it's like to be hurt. I know what pain feels like. Physical pain. I went through a period of time where I was in excruciating pain, and the doctors really struggled to regulate that pain and then also allow me to work. And so it was almost unbearable. So you kind of become numb, or I compartmentalize very well. So I was able to kind of pocket or shelf the pain until I could deal with it. And I just remember I would be at work and I would be fine at work, and then I would go home, and by the time I would get home and I would undress, the pain would hit, like just throbbing, just pain, just knife stabbing pain. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so the first thing you think is like, is this really happening? And so I told my doctor about it. I didn't know if she was gonna laugh or say something was wrong with me, but she was like, no. What she explained is that the pressure when I was at work and I had on clothes, that was holding me together. And so when I would take my clothes off, it was released, and that's when I would feel that pain. And it's kind of like that with emotional pain. We kind of compartmentalize it. We put it in a shelf. We put it in a pocket. We don't deal with it. And then, and so it's being kind of held in. But then when there's a little hole, when something happens, when there's something that's going on, then it kind of opens up, and then all of these emotions and all of these feelings and all of this pain becomes very, very real. And so I just wanted to give a few examples of what I'm talking about, the pain of being cut. And I kind of thought about it from the lens of St. John chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. And I looked at the Message Bible, which I don't normally do, but it was perfect throughout this whole discussion today. And it says, I am the real vine, and my Father is the farmer. He cuts off every branch of me that doesn't bear grapes, and every branch that is grape bearing, he prunes back so it will bear even more. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So if it's not bearing any fruit, then he's going to cut it off. And if it is bearing fruit, he's still going to cut it so that it could bear more fruit. Like, whoa. So either way, we're going to get cut. And in this life, either way, we're going to experience pain. There will be pain in our lives. And so we just have to learn how to deal with it. So I'm reminded of a time when the Lord kept dealing with me. And I always say God got jokes, but it's okay. So anyway, he kept dealing with me about, it's not in what you see, it's what you don't see. It's not in what you see, it's what you don't see. And I was like, okay, God, okay, I got it. And so I went home one day, opened the door, and I looked on the wall where there was this big, beautiful painting. It was supposed to be, but the painting was gone. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so then I turned to the right and I look at the TV stand, but there's no TV on it. The TV was gone. And now I'm running through the house very frantically, and I get to the garage, and I look for the lawnmower. The lawnmower is gone, and the weed eater is gone. And I'm like, what? And so what do you do when things like that happen? So I immediately picked up the phone and I made a call, but the number had been changed just that quick. So the person that I was in a relationship with had actually taken those things and had left me with all of the bills. And it looked pretty bad, but it's not what you see, it's what you don't see. What I couldn't see was the cutting behind the cut. So I felt like he had cut me, right? Like he had cut me. It was below the belt, cut me. But then I hadn't recognized that God was really orchestrating everything, and he allowed that cutting because I didn't need to be with that person in the first place. And I never ever would have had the courage to get out of that relationship, except that person did that. And after that, when it was a Craftsman, lawnmower, and weed eater. So after that, a lot of stuff I could, but no. I love that lawnmower and weed eater. I never cut grass a day in my life, but I purchased it. I bought it, and I felt some kind of way. So anyway, so that was that. And so the next thing I really want to talk about is how sometimes we might feel like it's never going to get any better. This is the way it is. This is my life for the rest of my life. And so I remember after that situation happened with that person, that I was just so devastated. I was so heartbroken because I couldn't believe that person would do that to me. And I was but I'm not a big crier. I don't cry. I could be super hurt, but I very seldom cry. And so apparently I was crying in my sleep. And so when I would wake up, literally when I would open my eyes, tears would just flow down my face. And because I was crying in my sleep, because that's how much pain, because see, I had bottled it up. I had wrapped it up like with the clothes that I would have on, and it contained it. But in my sleep, it would escape. And so when I would wake up, my eyes were filled with water, and tears would just fall down my face. And it just seemed like this is it. This is, it's not going to get any better. But that wasn't true. It did get so much better. But at the time, it looked bad. So somebody's going through something right now, and it seems like it's not going to get any better. I promise you it will. Just continue to hold on. You're just experiencing the pain of the cut. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is sometimes how everybody seems to be moving along, everybody but you, right? And so I just know, even the last couple of years, we've had a lot of transition with work, and it seemed like people just move on, or in other areas, people are moving on. They're getting promoted. They're doing their thing. And I'm working just as hard as everybody else. I might be working a little harder. And it just seems like, nope. It's not happening for me. The door isn't opening for me. No matter how much I push and kick, it's just not happening. But then I saw some people who I knew were doing some things that they didn't need to do, that were kind of underhanded, and they seemed to be getting promoted. So I went back to the Message Bible, and this was really, really good. So it said, it's Psalm 73, and I'm just going to read a little bit. Message Bible is all that. So no doubt about it, God is good to good people, good to good-hearted. But I nearly missed seeing his goodness. I was looking the other way, looking up to the people at the top, envying the wicked who have it made, who have nothing to worry about, not a care in the whole wide world. Pretentious with arrogance, they wear the latest fashions and violence, pampered and overfed, decked out in silk bows of silliness. They jeer using words to kill. They bully their way with words. They're full of hot air, loud mouths, disturbing the peace. People actually listen to them. Can you believe it? Like thirsty puppies, they lap up their words. What's going on here? Is God out to lunch? Nobody's tending the store. The wicked get by with everything. They have it made, piling up riches. I've been stupid to play by the rules. What has it gotten me? A long run of bad luck. That's what. A slap in the face every time I walk out of the door. If I'd given in and talked like this, I would have betrayed your dear children. Still, when I tried to figure it out, all I got was a splitting headache until I entered the sanctuary of God. Then I saw the whole picture, the slippery road you've put them on, with a final crash in a ditch of delusions. In the blink of an eye, disaster, a blind curve in the dark, and nightmare. We wake up and rub our eyes. Nothing. There's nothing to them. And there never was. So I read through the 20th verse, and if you read King James, it won't read like that, but that really spoke to me, because sometimes, our foot will slip while we're looking at the prosperity of the wicked. We're looking at how it seems like everybody else is gaining. I remember we would tell the truth, and then maybe we wouldn't get any assistance back in the day. But then other people would lie and say, nobody lived with them, or they would say they didn't have a job, or all this other kind of stuff. And they would get all of this public assistance. They get food stamps, they get this, they get that, and they get all this stuff. And it really, really seemed like there was no benefit to being honest, to being truthful, to going by the book. But it was. In the end, when you do wrong, it does circle back around. And so what I'm saying to you is just continue to be patient. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the pain. The pain has purpose, and there is no true healing without pain, and that pain signals that something is wrong. So sometimes we ignore red flags. We ignore the signs, we ignore the warnings, but that pain is there to tell us, to message to us, something is wrong. So if you're always experiencing pain, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your church, begin to really seek God's face about that, because it shouldn't always be only pain. There should be love and pain, and there's good pain, and then there's bad pain. And that good pain is, I know that I'm getting better. I have a friend, and I'm getting ready to close. I have a friend, and she is always telling me, always telling me ways that I can improve and get better and do better. She gets on my last nerves. You hear me? Like last nerve. But at the end of the day, it's good pain, because she wants me to be a better person, and I want to be a better person. And so everything she's saying can only help me. So I might be defensive at first and I don't like it, but in the long run, I know it's for my good. It's the same way with God. God, everything he allows is for our good. He's working it for our good. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Hang in there and know that it's going to be okay, because there's pain in the cut, but the cutting has a purpose. And if God sees something he wants to cut, let him cut away. Because in the end, we're going to stand better, and we're going to bear more fruit, richer fruit, greater fruit, bigger fruit, because we are in his will. Thank you.